Hey, are you talking about back in the day?
Nah, man. I'm talking about back in the day.
Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day.
It's
Joining me today on the Back in the Day podcast, you've seen her on The Bachelor, Bachelor in Paradise, the host of the Girls Night podcast, Miss Alexis Waters. What's up, girl?
hey, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show. I saw that you were doing stand up. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a huge Bachelor fan, but I saw that you were doing stand up, and I always try to find people that have done interesting things to be on this show because I think that makes the show a lot more fun to have like interesting people. I don't know where I saw your stand up online something, and then I like looked on your page. I was like, who's
Yeah.
this person? And then I saw your background. I was like, well, I got to talk to this girl. I got to get her on the show. We've got to talk
Yeah.
where she came from, how she got into comedy, all that good stuff. So talk to me a little bit about so how long were you on The Bachelor? How far did you make it? All that good stuff.
So I was on The Bachelor probably till like the top 10, I think. Once it started getting serious and lovey-dovey, they were like, okay, get this girl out of here, you know?
Yeah.
I think the producers kept me on for longer than I needed to be there, but I was just kind of the comedic relief. But I knew like immediately that the Bachelor man was not for me. So
Because how
I was
old were
there
you
for
when you were on the show?
I was 23. I'm 31 now. So I was a baby and I just wanted to party. So like I think I just drank the whole time. I was like intoxicated the entire time, but it was so much fun. Like it was probably one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah,
But
because you think about it, like
Nick was
how
36.
oh yeah, he's
And
not trying to marry a 23-year-old. That's not
yeah, and
happening.
And I mean he was really good looking, but he was kind of he was really good looking. I remember when I showed up in the dolphin costume, I was like, okay, Alexis, he's like very hot. Like, why am I wearing this fucking costume? Get it together.
Oh, you're the
But other than that,
dolphin
like it
costume
was just
person.
I knew he was just not my the one I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, you know?
Yeah. Did you get any time? Okay, so when you said you finished about around the top 10ish. At that point, are you doing any
Yeah.
like one-on-one time or like like any time with the person at that point?
I didn't get asked to do one-on-one, and I would tell the producers that if you put me on a one-on-one, I would pretend to faint so I didn't have to go because I was so scared.
Well, yeah, because at that age, at 23 years old, a 36-year-old, that's a completely different life. I mean, think back, you said you're
Yeah.
31 now, right? And
Yeah.
I'm 38 and I feel way older than a 31-year-old. I can't imagine at 36 talking to someone that's 23 and not at me being their boss or their uncle, right? I don't
Yeah.
I don't know
I know.
how
I
that would
know.
happen.
I
And
know. And they
so
always sorry.
no, you go ahead.
They always cast like really young girls too. But
Is
and
it
I just
usually that
graduated.
difference?
I mean, I think so. Like, I feel like a lot of the girls were around like 24, 25, 28. Like, everybody was really in their 20s. I might be missing some people, but yeah, everybody was around that age group. But I mean, I just graduated from college and then I ended up on The Bachelor 6 months later.
Yeah, that's not usually because I think when I think of like The Bachelor, I've watched probably maybe 10 episodes over the years between when I was younger, my mom and my sister watching it, and then when I got older, my wife watching it, and me just like sitting in it and watching it. And when I think about the people that are on The Bachelor, the men and the women, it usually is like a story of people like kind of not down on their luck, but like I've been in a lot of relationships, it hasn't really worked out, and now I'm ready to finally find the one. I don't think about that as someone that's 6 months past college. Like that's that's not usually the
No,
demographic.
but like, well, my dad was a huge fan of the show, so he kind of like not forced me, but he kind of like convinced me to audition. I was living at my dad's condo at the time. I actually use this for my stand-up kind of material, the story, because I was living at my dad's condo rent free. I moved down to Miami, stayed at his condo, and he was like a huge fan of the show. And he was like, why don't you audition? Like, it had like a casting one night. We were watching an episode, and at the end of the episode, it said like casting call in Fort Lauderdale. So my dad's like, go, go, go. I'm like, Dad, I'm like going on The Bachelor. I'm 23 years old. I'm trying to dance and do Molly on yachts, you know? Like, I'm not trying to get married. But like going on the show, I was never like, I just was kind of like, I didn't go on for any type of reason. Like it just all kind of happened. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like planning to get married. It wasn't planning to, it was just like, let's see how this experience works out. But while I was on the show too, like it's kind of a social experiment. You get thrown into this world, no phone, no TV, no music, no newspaper, like everything's taken away from you. And then you're just like in this bubble where you're getting interviewed by Nick. Getting interviewed talking about Nick, who is the Bachelor. And all the girls were just constantly talking about him. So you like kind of like in your head, you're like, oh my God, I kind of like him. Like, but it's just kind of like a brainwashing thing, you know?
Well, yeah, of course. It's kind of the show itself is more of like a social experiment in anything,
Yeah.
right? To where if I'm with any product or any person or any sports team or anything out there, if I continue to talk about that one thing to you for weeks on end, over
Yeah.
and over and over again, everyone is going to be like, that's the thing I want. Right?
I know.
You're going to, it's just like anything else. If you are told that this is this amazing thing and you have to have it and you're going to compete for it, you're like, I'm in love with Nick. That's why there's 7
Yeah.
girls on this
Yeah.
show that have fallen in love with him. 'Cause that's what I'm
No,
on.
but it was no, the first like 2 weeks, like everybody was like, oh my God, like I really like him. I knew immediately. He had like corny jokes, and I like funny, even though my fiance now is not the funniest. But like I just knew that he wasn't for me. And like I remember at one point I was like, oh my God, like I was like kind of convincing myself that I was like in love with him.
Yeah, because you've been brainwashed. You've been told I have to love this man.
Yeah, I forgot I had a family. Like I forgot I had a dog. Like it was all just out the window. Like Nick was the main thing. But I was so close with the girls. Like I was having so much fun with the girls the whole time and just partying that like Nick was kind of just there. But if I needed to make out with somebody, I would make out with them.
Yeah, there you go. Because that's what most 23-year-olds mindset is, right? Like at
Yeah,
23, you're
like
like, I'm looking for some fun. I'm looking for some camaraderie with my girlfriends. And if I need to find someone to make out with, I'll find someone to make out with. They're not thinking, I'm going to beat these bitches down so I can find my husband.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, like I met some of my best friends from the show was from, oh my God, put a sentence together, Alexis. Like all the girls that I was on the show with, like I'm still best friends with to this day. So that was like the best experience. But like it was so like, and we have this experience that we all like kind of trauma bonded again, you know?
Yeah. Are you friends? How did you with the person that won? Were you friendly with them?
Oh yeah, she's from Canada. And I knew immediately that she was going to win. She had like the hottest body ever. And Nick was just like always staring at her. And I'm like, Nick, I'm over here. Hey. But he always had his eye on her. I mean, I'm still close friends with her too.
Are they still together?
No.
No?
I mean, if you think about it, it's literally 60 days. Like,
well, yeah,
like
no
2
one
months.
should. Most people shouldn't be together. I mean, and also too, like the few times I've seen it, I'm like, yeah, of course you're on love. You're getting a helicopter flown to you to go on the top of the Eiffel Tower to have dinner. Of course it's romantic. You could be you could have no chemistry with that person at all, and you're gonna have a great time.
I know. I mean, looking back, I'm like, damn, I should have fucking went on a one-on-one, or like even just like the trips that we would go on were insane. I mean, what am I talking about? I went to New Orleans and Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, that's
Like,
where
I
they
didn't get
should
no
be
trip.
doing them.
I know. Honestly,
That's where
Wisconsin was
it should
so
take
much
place. Instead of it like being in these really cool spots, it should take place in like middle of bumfuck Louisiana. And you should
Yeah.
not be able to, like, you're not doing anything extravagant. And if they can fall in love there, they're going to make it.
We slept on like a floor in like a plantation house in New Orleans, and
Oh.
our date night. Yeah, it was a weird night. Like it was like, I don't remember. Oh my God, sorry. I'm getting old. I'm like, I don't remember what happened back then. But yeah, it was not an extravagant date that I would go on. Like I was thinking maybe we're going to go to, and the week I got dumped, they went to the Bahamas and I was so pissed.
You're like, what? I just slept on the floor.
Yeah, I just slept on the floor. But I remember too, like the night I got dumped in New Orleans, and you can't get your nails done, you can't get your eyebrows done. Like everything is you just have to wait and get ugly, I guess. But we had like this woman come in to do our nails and eyebrows and whatever, and she waxed my mustache, and I had a burn mark on my lip the night at the rose ceremony, and I was like, this guy's gonna dump me because I have this big ass burn mark, and he did, and I was so pissed. And then the week later, they went to the Bahamas and they played beach volleyball, and I was a volleyball player, so I just keep telling myself that they dumped me because they knew I would play really good and beat everybody, and like, yeah.
That's exactly what happened. They knew. They were like, we can't have a ringer in here with a burnt mustache coming in here playing dominating volleyball. There's going to be all these questions asked, like, can we see a birth certificate? Who is this person?
Yeah, I get it. Like I knew, like, you know, I was really good at volleyball. I probably won the event because one of the first times I kissed Nick, it was during this athletic competition, and I won, and then I had to run and jump into his arms and kiss him in front of like maybe 50 people the first time I kissed him, and I was so nervous. Like I was like,
so they tell you to kiss them?
Well, like
it's like
it was like
staged.
a shop. We did this track event, and we had to, whoever threw the shot put. The shot put. What is it called? Yeah, the shot put. Am I saying?
Yeah, that's what it is. You're right. Yeah, you
like
got it. Not shot pit, but put for sure.
Whoever throws it the furthest, like kisses him. So obviously, I'm an athlete, okay? So I fucking threw it, and then I was like so nervous because nobody was throwing it farther than me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be the winner. So I ran and kissed him, and I remember not thinking I liked him, and then after the kiss, I was like, ooh, he made my vagina dance. And then he said at the mansion, like later that night, he was like, during a rose ceremony, he was like, okay, ladies, who's ready to turn up? And I was like, not me. And then it was over.
And that was it. And that was the end of the thing. Like,
yeah. And he would say, Alexis, stop being so jelly of the other girls.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, but Nick, chill out, bro. Like, why are you saying jelly? Why are you saying turn up? Like, you were 36 and this was 7-8 years ago. I know.
That's what, exactly.
You know, like, I'm not saying a bunch of Gen Z terms. I don't do that, you know, and this guy was going full millennial. Yeah, that's crazy. So, okay, take me back though a little bit before that. You said, okay, you had just graduated college, and then your dad says, hey, get on the Bachelor. That's what you need to be doing with your life. What was the plan before that? Like, what were you trying? What was Alexis attempting to do? What were you doing? What were you pursuing at that time before you got on the show?
I really wanted to do sports marketing
in school.
Oh, no. Like when I was there, I knew I wanted to do something in the entertainment world. Like I didn't want to do anything with my degree.
Yeah, absolutely. So was there anything that you were doing like while school? Like, okay, I'm going to do something entertainment wise. Did you have anything that you wanted to try to do, or you just knew you wanted to make sure you were entertaining people in some fashion?
I always wanted to make people laugh. Like that was just my thing. Like I feel like I was always doing wild and crazy things. I was always dressing up in sumo wrestling costumes and having like just doing random things my entire life. I don't even know how to explain it, but I went to school just because I wanted a college degree and I played
Yeah.
volleyball in college, but I was just always filming random videos. Like my dream was to do, like to be in Jackass, like as the first
Okay.
female.
So were you just like growing up like a kid that was just doing bits all the time on people?
Yeah. I'm thinking
Just
like
not
I was just
like in
and I
class doing bits on teachers, or were you quiet in class?
no, I was not quiet.
Not at all.
I mean, I have very bad ADHD, so I was always just it was really hard for me to pay attention. That's what I was trying to say earlier with school. Like it was really hard for me to pay attention in college. Like it was just I always was distracted. I always knew that like it was kind of torturous for me. I'm proud of myself for getting through it, but it wasn't something I genuinely enjoyed.
Where did you go?
I loved partying, but that was it. I loved the
Yeah.
college parties. Oh my god, I sound so fucking bad. I went to Montclair State in
Where's that
Jersey.
at? Okay.
Yeah, in
So
New
are you
Jersey.
from New Jersey?
Yes. Do I still have
Okay.
an
So
accent?
absolutely. Uh like 100%. No, without a shadow of a doubt, you have an accent still, which is great. I don't think you should ever lose your accent. Be who
I
you are.
hope not. My Jersey friends are like, "You sound a little country these days." I'm like, "Okay." I feel like I lost it a little bit, but I
No,
still
it's
it's
there.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I
Tell
was
my
told
friends that.
recently, probably for the first time in my life, maybe about a year or so ago, that I had a Texas accent. And first time anyone's ever told me that. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. And it was multiple people that confirmed it. I worked with a bunch of people. One of the jobs I had a couple of years ago, most of the people were remote. We had people in Texas, but there was probably half the people in the company worked remote. And so they were from all over the country. They're like, yeah, you definitely have a Texas accent. And I was like, all right, got that Texas accent now. So I was pretty
I
pumped
don't
about
really
it.
hear it. I feel like you have like just a normal voice.
That's what I feel like too. I always thought the same thing
Yeah, I
too.
feel
And
like
then
you
all
have
of a
just a
sudden
regular accent.
I was like, cool. I got that twang, I guess. I didn't know.
Like if I
But
no, you have a I mean, I feel like I hear a little bit of twang, but not really.
yeah, but all right. So grew up in New Jersey. Did you spend your entire life in New Jersey?
Yes, I did. Secaucus, New Jersey, right outside of New York City, like an 11-minute train ride. Born and raised. And then
What
I
brought
got
you to
trapped
Texas?
by Tyler. I was just going to say, but then I got trapped by Tyler Fernandez, my fiance, who's from Borger, Texas, like
Texas.
Amarillo area.
Okay, yeah. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Amarillo by morning.
Have you gone to Borger, Texas a lot?
Oh, yeah. I
We
remember
can
the first time I ever went there, I was like, where it was such a culture shock because there's like cows everywhere. And, I'm from right outside of New York City. I'm like, where the hell am I? If I need to escape, there's no Ubers, there's just cows. And no, it's a beautiful town.
Yeah, it's not a beautiful town. You don't have to say that. Like no one is judged. No one in. I don't have. There's not a lot of people in Borger, Texas, that listen to this podcast. I don't think so. You do not
Yeah.
have to be like, it's a great town, I swear. But
I mean, just the pace of life is so much slower. So for me, who's just very go, 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 and like have been living outside of New York, like, it was just the pace of life. And then I went there and I was it was a culture shock. I mean, even
yeah,
Texas, Dallas is a city, but it's still like not as fast paced as Jersey. So, but I love it. Like it's a very livable city.
for sure. I mean, Dallas is a big city, but it's still in Texas, so it is a little bit slower paced. But I grew up in the Dallas area, and I went to a junior college out in West Texas. And I will tell you that it felt like I was living in a different country. It was so different. So the first time I
Where was
went
this?
to Snyder, Texas, in West Texas, I went to this
Yeah.
junior college out there. It's like 4 hours west of here. And when I showed up to that place, it was like, do I need my passport? Who are these people? Nobody listens to any of the music that I listen to. It was talking like I spoke a different language than them, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it is like a language barrier from me. Like even Tyler says things. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He says like fixing to go. I'm fixing to
Yeah,
go here. I'm
I say
fixing. I'm
that
like, what the
too.
hell are you talking about? You're not fixing anything. Like I don't. But it's just like little things that I mean, I love it. But I talk way too fast for him, and he talks so slow. So we just barely communicate, and just the way I like it, you know.
Yeah, there you go. We just kind of look at each other. I talk fast. He talks slow. Where nothing really ever happens. It's a lot of us saying "huh," the other one saying "what," and then we
Oh,
just
he's
move on
always
about our
like,
day.
there's a lot of things, and like even putt putt. I'd never heard of putt putt in my life. Like we just call it mini golf
Yeah,
in Jersey. So our first date, he was like, "You want a putt putt?" And I was like, "No, dude, not on the first night."
yeah. Chill, guy.
Because I
Who
thought
are
it was
you?
sexual. I thought it was like a sexual term, but it's literally that's just
It
my horny
is.
brain though talking.
It is a pretty seductive name if you think about it. Like
Yeah,
it is
putt
like a
putt.
little. Yeah, like what
Yeah, I
creep made
never
that
heard.
game up?
Yeah, but I did putt putt him on the first night.
But I will tell you this. You're saying like we call miniature golf putt putt. I think
Yeah.
Texas is real into calling brand name things like something that is a brand, just making that everything. Like we call all sodas Cokes. We call
Yeah.
all like putt putt is miniature golf. It's a franchise, so we call all like, hey, you been able to play putt putt, right? I'm trying to think what other ones there are for that. Like I
Everybody's
call all
every
Kleenexes or all tissues Kleenex.
Yeah. What else does he say? He says like, okay, you know when you're driving and those lights in the front of your car, like what do you call those?
The headlights.
Okay, he calls them brights. And I'm like, I've never heard of it. He calls cement. And I'm
Well,
like, no,
yeah,
no.
that's how you
No.
say it. That's what it is. That's what like what like yeah, like I don't know what else. Like he
Wait, no,
calls
no, he
water
said
water.
No, it's cement. It's cement. Cement.
Well, I think it's a tomato argument.
Okay,
It's
wait, yeah. That was a bad example. Nothing's coming to my
caramel
brain, but I have a
caramel.
million. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
if you
else?
think of tweet me or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
If you think of it, like come back to it. So you guys met. How did you guys meet?
We met right when we filmed The Bachelor. That New Year's Eve, me and all my friends from the show went to Miami, and one of the girls that I met through The Bachelor, her guy friends were going to Miami. So we all went for New Year's, and then we met at a strip club, Club 11 in Miami.
Oh, very nice. That is where all the dreams are made.
What a beautiful love story, right?
Yeah, there you go. Is he a reality? What does he do for work?
No, he is not. He's in real estate. So
Oh, okay.
he's a man of few words. He's very stoic, and I am the crazy one in the relationship, and it works perfectly. And we've been
Yeah,
together
you
for
can't have
7
two
years.
crazy people.
No, I've had that. I've dated a lot of meatheads in my past, and it never
From
worked
Jersey?
out
No way.
well. I
No,
know.
like absolutely not. No way in
Like I would
Jersey.
shoot steroids in their butt.
Oh, that's good. Were they getting good results?
Yeah, but they would have like back knee.
Yeah, of course. I've thought about now that like I don't do a job where I'm gonna get drug tested or anything like that. I've contemplated taking steroids, right? Like why not? Just see what happens. But at the end of the day, there's no
One of
really
my
I
when I
don't
was
gain
dating one of
anything
those
from it.
meatheads. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and you get like moody and scary
Yeah, I don't need that.
and back knee.
Yeah, my daughters don't need to have a dad that's
And
moody,
what?
scary with a lot of back knee. That can't happen.
Yeah, let's not and say we did. How many daughters do you have?
I have 2 kids, 2 daughters.
Ooh, stop. How old are
Yeah.
they?
7 and 10. They're actually home today. They started school yesterday, and then we got an email at 9:30 this morning from their school that said that the air conditioning is broken, so we all had to come pick our kids up. So they're somewhere around the house right now, being quiet, which is pretty. I'm pretty proud of them that they're quiet right now. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be able to do this. But yeah, so grew up in New Jersey, always doing bits, always funny, always wanting to be in Jackass. What but you played volleyball at the same time too. Okay, and you played college volleyball, so you had to be pretty disciplined and pretty damn good. How did that dynamic work with like your coaches and like the serious side of sports and the competitive side, but also being goofy?
I mean, I mean, I was always, every time I think back of it, like I was always doing weird things on the volleyball court too. Like I was just always the funny one in every, like even when I was on my team in Montclair State, I was the funny one, and then in the Bachelor too. Like I felt like I was just always had that role.
Were you the funniest in your friend group?
No, and to this day, I'm pissed about it because my friend won class comedian in high school, and I'll never get over it. So
Yeah, we got to talk.
I
We
was
can. That's a good segue because I didn't win class clown either. I was nominated. Okay, I was nominated for class like funniest, and I was also nominated for most talented. Okay, and didn't win either.
Oh.
Didn't win either. So what's up, Hebron High? Like what's up with that
Yeah.
shit? Okay, and I didn't win most talented, which I'm okay with, but I'm not okay with the person that I lost to because the dude just sang the national anthem every now and then. Fine voice, but he's not doing anything with that shit. And then the guy, me and the other guy, he's the one that should have won. The guy was on So You Think You Can Dance. He's on Broadway. He's been in movies for his dancing. He had like all this different. He had like a residency in Vegas that he was on for his dancing. And the guy that won, like maybe he sings at church. I don't know what he does now, but he's not singing. He's not on. He's on American Idol. He's not on Broadway, right?
No, I'm like, it's something that's engraved in my brain that I never won. That like it still pisses me off a little bit, you know?
Yeah, my best friend and I both were nominated for funniest, and this other guy won. And we talk about it maybe once every like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
We're like, remember when so and so won funniest? What's up with that?
I wasn't even nominated, so that like really pissed me off. I was nominated for class couple, and I won that.
Oh, and then you went to the Bachelor. They had you picked out right. They knew that you're all about the love connections.
But I'm very perplexed by the fact that I didn't win or even was nominated for class comedian because look at me now, you know?
Yeah. But question though, did y'all have male, female?
No, we only had
Was it like funniest? There was no guy?
Oh, no, it was... No. I mean, yeah, there was funny guys, but the one that won was my best friend, who's still my best friend to this day, and I always talk shit about her. I'm like, Beba, I'm funnier than you.
Yeah, absolutely. You just be like, come do 5 minutes,
like,
see what happens.
You shouldn't have won that.
Yeah. That's frustrating, for sure. So... funny, always funny growing up. You have siblings?
Yes, I have one sister and then I have 3 stepsisters. So I'm the baby out of 5 girls.
Who's the funniest out of the 5 of y'all?
Me, but I feel like they taught me a lot, you know?
Yeah.
I took a little funny from every single one of them.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're funny growing up. We go to the Bachelor. We're doing sports marketing. If the Bachelor would after the Bachelor, when do you move on to do the other stuff like the Bachelor in Paradise?
That was like 6 months later. Bachelor in Paradise was 6 months later, right after the Bachelor, because it's kind of like everybody that got dumped from the Bachelor, they go to an island in Mexico and then they try to make something work, and you get paid for that.
Oh, did you not get paid for the Bachelor?
No, you don't get paid for the Bachelor, but when you get off the Bachelor, you obviously get like a bunch of exposure, and then you get a lot of brand deals. Like I was selling like dildos for like $5,000. Hopefully your daughters don't listen to this because I'm very
that'd be very weird if I was like letting them listen to this. It'd be just a very awkward thing, like very very bad parenting on my part to be like, hey, do you want to listen to this podcast where I put comedians on and a bunch of like other degenerates and like some of my friends that tell the craziest stories ever? No, absolutely. They do not listen to this.
Okay, good. So yeah, like after you get off The Bachelor, obviously you don't get paid, but you get like I was making money off social media, brand deals, and then just I got like a hosting gig in LA. So it was a lot of exposure because it's ABC network too, so it's a huge network. And then I did Bachelor in Paradise right after, and they pay for that. So I was
What
like,
was the hosting thing that you were doing?
I was recapping like the next season of The Bachelor for Extra TV. So I was
Oh,
doing recaps out there, and then I moved to LA for a year and didn't love that too much.
did you just not like LA itself, like the
I
city?
just didn't like LA itself. Yeah. It was so it just I mean, it was a lot of the people too. I feel like I'm very authentic and genuine, I feel like. And when I went there, I didn't feel that that was the vibe. I mean, I
Yeah,
was proud
no.
of myself that I did a year, but it was definitely an experience that I would like I loved, but I knew I wasn't going to stay there forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I can understand that. I haven't spent a ton of time in LA, but the times that I have spent, I was like, this is a different place. I went there for a work trip like 2 years ago, and we had some kind of happy hour with all these different salespeople. And I was like, just get me out of this place. Like, just get me
I
out of here. I don't
know.
want to talk to any of these people about appetizers and
Yeah.
tacos.
And I got attacked by a homeless man. I was living in like downtown LA. So once I got attacked by the homeless man, I was like, okay, I need to keep it moving.
Yeah, I had a gross thing happen in downtown LA as well with a homeless guy's dog licked my leg, and I was out just kind of looking for dinner, and that killed my appetite. I just went back to my hotel and went to sleep.
Yeah. And you
You
don't know
get
where
licked
that's
by a
going.
homeless man's dog? Like that's not something. You're not
I
like, oh,
thought
let me go.
you paused for a second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you said you got licked by a homeless man. The dog part just came
No,
second.
no, 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 no. I was just
And I
minding
was
my
like,
business.
oh, new fear has just unlocked for me because I would have been freaking out. Freaking
Oh,
out.
if a homeless man licked me, I'm punching the homeless man. That's happening.
Or just like if they had their finger and touched my lip, like I would freak out.
I think I would dislike that more than them licking me. If
Yeah.
if a person, just any stranger, not they don't have to, they could have a home. They could have many
Yeah.
homes. If someone, a strange human being, took their finger and put it on my lip,
Yeah.
that's like I want to say I would fight them, but I don't know. I think I would be so shocked that I would just be like, "What just happened?" And I would probably throw up.
I know Kevin Hart does like a thing on it, and it's so funny. Like how like one of his biggest fears is just if a homeless person didn't do anything, they just like tapped the lip
Yeah, absolutely.
with their
Because you're
finger. I
getting
would freak
sick.
out.
You're
So
getting
yeah,
sick 100%.
I apologize. You were saying how you were getting licked by a homeless man's dog, not
Yeah.
a homeless
Just
man.
minding my business. I was like, I'm gonna go. I just flown in, and it was like a Sunday night, and I had a bunch of work to do in the morning. But I was like, I need to find something to eat. I want to go find some like waters for my hotel room, and I need to find food, right? Because I have an early morning. I'm walking
Yeah.
around downtown LA trying to find something, and this homeless man just hanging out. He's got a dog, no big deal. And all of a sudden, the dog, which looked worse than he did, came
Yeah.
and licked my calf, and it grossed me out so much that I said, "You're not getting hydrated. Forget that. You're not getting any snacks for the hotel room. You're just going to bed hungry and thirsty, and you're taking 2 showers." And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I showered twice, and then I went to bed and woke up the next day extremely hungry. But yeah, homeless man's dog licked the hell out of my calf.
I don't know why. Anytime I see homeless people, like I really wanna like, and they have a dog, I get really sad about the dog. The person too, but more so the dog.
Yeah, because like the dog didn't choose this life, and
I know. I get really.
we've pampered dogs so much in this country that those dogs aren't surviving on their own.
Like I feel bad for the homeless people too, but I feel really bad for the dogs. just,
Yeah.
just to clarify. I love how we're both drinking our Stanleys. Like
Yeah, we're such basic bitches on this podcast.
I know.
Stanleyed up. So okay, so after the Bachelor in Paradise, what so were you just doing like brand ambassador things? Because I
Yeah.
feel like that would be a fun life, but also How did you like that?
Oh, I mean, I loved it. I made so much money. I was saying earlier that I made like $5,000 per post for just like promoting a dildo, which I didn't want to do for the, like, I didn't really think that that was going to be what I was ending up to do with my life. But I mean, my rent was so high in LA. So for like literally a cubicle, and I had to make money somehow. But the brand deals were so fun. I mean, social media has changed so much. So I don't do as many now, but yeah, right after the show, I mean, the brand deals were rocking and rolling. I was like, "Hey guys, native deodorant, use my code off."
What
And then I
was
would
like
put it on.
was there anything that you did where you were like, there's no way I'm ever going to use this, but thank God they're paying me to do it?
Well, okay. Even for the podcast too, like we would get ad deals and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? So now I feel like I'm at a place in my life where I'm like, okay, I can pick and choose and not lie to my followers, you know? Like I genuinely use this product. I'm not just being like, oh, use my code Alexis 20 for 50% off. Okay, I use native deodorant. It's like a natural deodorant that I would
Yeah. My
promote.
kids use
And
it.
okay, well, anytime I would use it, I would smell like BO immediately. And I'm like, this shit doesn't work. So like I'm very confused.
Yeah, no, for sure. Not people. If you live in like California or Texas, like states like that, you don't need to be rocking natural deodorant. Okay, you
No.
live in a state, you live in a climate. If you live in Antarctica, cool. Have your natural deodorant all you want. But anybody else that lives somewhere where it's sweaty, you need to put all the chemicals in your body to keep you from stinking. 100%.
I know. I want to be natural and like put good things in my body, but the native deodorant, like I'm not trying to smell with deodorant. Deodorant is one thing that I will use. Aluminum, I don't care. Like, especially in Texas too, it's so hot. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to sweat and smell and doing stand up. Like, I'm a big, I like smelling good. That's like one of my biggest
yeah.
things.
Put the chemicals in my body. I'm
Yeah.
not stinking it up. Like that's not happening.
But native deodorant was one of those that I was like, okay, why am I promoting this when like I don't want people to stink, you know? But there was so, I mean, there's so many. Sorry, I feel like my brain has
No, you're
stopped
good.
working.
It's funny is you're like, I don't want to promote this because I don't want people to stink, but if you pay me enough, smell all you want, ladies and
No.
gentlemen.
No, yeah, but that was back in the day, you know, that was back in the day. Now, I mean, I was so young. I was just like, and I didn't do anything with my college degree. So I was like, you know, what am I supposed to do? I then dildos was a lot. But I would always like dress up in characters just to make it more funny so that I wouldn't feel like it was a sexual thing. So I dressed up as Mrs. Claus and was like, since during Christmas, and I was like, since since Santa is too busy with making presents, like I got this dildo, you know?
Yeah.
This is what
Since
saved
Santa is
me this
occupied
Christmas.
with all your
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
children.
Yeah. This is what's getting me through the night. And then I
Yeah,
would say
there
like
you
the dildo and like an elf that I was banging. Anyways,
go.
sorry.
Put my code in for 20% off.
20% off.
Yeah.
But
You know what my favorite thing is right now on when I see like the social media influencers, well, they'll like tell like a heartwarming story, or they'll be like real vulnerable, and they'll tell something like really that traumatic that happened in their life. And they're like, use my promo code for 10% off candles. You're like, what? Like, why didn't you just told me the saddest story ever?
I know it's a different ball game. Like I'm trying to
Use promo code CRY for 10% off candles.
I know, and I love like I mean when you're getting the brand deals, like even like I would feel like I wasn't born to be an influencer. Like I don't think I should be influencing anybody, but it kind of just fell on my lap after the Bachelor, you know? So it was just kind of like I feel like my whole life I was just doing things as they come. Like, you know, like I never really planned anything. I was just wild and things just happened.
Absolutely. I mean, take whatever you can get.
Uneducated.
You're like, so I just like showed up and money came and there I am today.
Yeah, and like I just pray and pull out, you know, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, okay. So you're doing the influencer stuff. You're doing the brand ambassador. When did you decide like, hey, I want to try comedy? Like, what brought you to that?
Okay, so I just started comedy last year.
Okay, so
No,
you're
so
a
2
year
years
in.
ago, I've always talked about it. Like, I was like, okay, I always wanted to do stand-up, but I was so scared. And my fiance would be like, stop talking about it and just do it. And I was like, oh my God, okay. Like, I would always say, like, when I do stand-up or, like, it was just always something that I knew I wanted to do. And then he would say, like, stop. Like, you keep saying that you want to do it, but you're not taking any action. So I was like, okay, dude. So I went to an open mic like at Dallas Comedy Club 2 years ago, and I got wasted before, and I was so scared. And I didn't
How'd that
like, I
go?
just horrible. And then I fell off the stage, broke both of my heels, like as I was walking off. It was mortifying. So, like, and then I walked outside and my car got towed. So it was like a big moment for me because I was like, okay, I always said I wanted to do this and I can't end like this. Like, this cannot be my story.
Yeah.
So a year later, I started taking classes at Dallas Comedy Club, and I've been in it ever since. But I feel like the Dallas Comedy Club, the classes have really just helped me stay consistent. And I just feel like I wanted to not fall off the stage and kind of know what I was doing.
Yeah, there you go. Like step one, like, and that's an easy bar to beat. Like, I just want guys, like, as any instructor is like, all I want to do is not fall off the stage. Boom, I can teach
Yeah.
you that. Who
And
was
not
your
get
instructor?
wasted. Megan King
Oh, I love Megan.
and Emily Great. Oh my God, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Don't kill me,
Griefer.
Emily.
Yeah.
Griefer. Yeah.
Emily is a fan of the Back in the Day podcast. She's been on it twice.
Oh my
so.
God, she was my level 1 teacher. So I loved her. And then Megan King was my level 2. So I just finished level 2. So I just did my first 10-minute set
How'd that go?
at Dallas. I did really good, but I was so focused on the memorizing that I feel like I didn't perform it. Like, I was just in my head a little bit.
I gotcha. Well, that's the
But
point of doing the open mic, so that you're doing it over and over again, to where it becomes that you're just saying words, you're not like performing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's what we were talking about before
I'm
we
still in
recorded. You
that
were like, "How
awkward.
long?"
Yeah.
Yeah, you asked me, you're like, "How long until you felt like
Yeah, I said
comfortable?"
it's
What
just,
did
I
you
feel
ask?
like behind the scenes, I feel like I'm about to jump out of an airplane still. Like, I still get so nervous. And
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
outgoing, you're personable.
I'm
Go ahead.
outgoing. I could talk to anybody. Like, I film, I do the podcast, but being in front of live people, like real people, is just, and being on stage, like I've never done anything on stage. I'm always behind a mic where I can edit it, like, so doing stand up is just a whole different ball game, but I love it. Like, I've had this feeling on stage where it's just this high that is just the best feeling in the entire world. And I've done a lot of drugs in my lifetime. So, like, this high is like a different level. And I'm happy that I'm chasing that high and not like other drugs,
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, it is like an amazing high. Like, that's why people continue to do it. It's
Yeah,
super addictive.
I just love making people laugh. Like, that's like something that I've always found I felt like my purpose. And now I just need to figure out a way to make money off of it,
And that comes with time, right? Like, it'll take a little time before you start making money.
I'm just saying, like, I've been making people laugh for free for way too long. Like, it's time to, make something out of it.
Get ready for, okay, so the feeling of making a group of people laugh is an amazing feeling. But what my favorite thing to do on stage right now is to be completely silent and have all of the people's attention. I'm serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, it's the most powerful thing in the world. It's like, yes, like, you've been killing them for 25 minutes, and then you get to a part to where, like, you can just be silent on stage and they're ready to listen to the next word. They want to hear every single word that comes out of your mouth because they've had such a great time with you. I love just to get real quiet and to, like, just take my time and have them on the edge of their seat waiting for the next thing to come out. That's make them laugh is amazing. That's even better.
Yeah.
Because then you have them.
Yeah, I feel like you can start a cult. It's like
Yeah,
everybody's
that's really what I'm going for. I want
yeah.
to change people's lives for the better and then change it for the
Yeah.
worst is my goal.
I just want people to feel like, oh, sorry, you're going in and out.
Oh, you're fine.
I just really want people to feel less alone. Like, I feel like I'm so weird. I'm so open about everything in my life that I just, if anybody's going through anything, like, I'll be like, I'm not there. I'm very non-judgmental. I just feel like I like making people feel less alone.
Yeah, that's great. And
Or
getting a
like
group of
relate
people to
to
laugh is
something.
amazing. Yeah,
The
for
best
sure.
feeling in the entire world. I'm doing an open mic tonight and I'm so scared.
Where are you going up at?
At Dallas Comedy Club. But I'm normally like at the ends of the list. And this week I'm like in the middle and I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a wild night. I just still like feel like I still have that anxious feeling.
Oh, I
But
understand
it'll
that.
go
And that'll
away,
go away
right?
eventually. Yeah, to a certain it'll go
Yeah.
away to where you're not anxious all day. I still get it like right before I'm about to go on stage. Like I'm talking like that
Yeah.
30 seconds before you're about to go on stage, and then once I step on stage it goes away. Where my Go ahead.
No, sorry, keep going.
Where my anxiety is right now with comedy is selling tickets. So anytime that I have a show where I am the headliner or where I have or I produce it or whatever, and the ticket sales and the crowd is not 100% on me, but I have like the majority of it on my shoulders. That's what it's for 3-4 weeks. I'm just like stressing about it. I'm like coming up in my head, like, okay, how am I going to sell this ticket? What numbers do I want to hit? I want to be at this because they have you in that spot for a reason. And then you don't want to sell tickets and then them not have you back. So that's where my anxiety at this point really lies a lot.
Yeah. No. Oh my God. Even just like trying to get people to come. I mean, it's just, and I feel like I'm only inviting my friends, but yeah, that's where we need to get to. We need to get to a place where you have a cult. Where like you just have people come to every single one of your shows and it's just this cult following.
I want people willing to die for me. That's who I want. And like, if you're not willing to die for me, don't come to my shows. That I'm not to that point yet, but by 2027, if the people in my shows are not willing to lose their life for me, not like I don't want them to like, if they're not willing to sacrifice their life for me, I don't want them at my shows.
Like when you stand on the stage and it's just silent, like do people start laughing, or is it just this feeling that you get when everybody's just staring at you, waiting for you to say your next word?
It's not like it's a long thing. It's like maybe 5 seconds, right?
Okay.
But it's just like a moment of like they're waiting for the next thing to be said, right? And you do it after a joke, so it's like a joke where there's a lot of laughter, and then you want it to like quiet down. Like I have this bit that I used to do about not knowing how to be single in this day and age, because I haven't been single since like 2007, and like the game has changed a lot since then. So I talk about it a lot, and then I just get real quiet. Like I'm like when do and I just stop kind of talking, and like I bring the whole room down, and then I ask my question, and the question is a joke, and that just like makes it go right back up. So it's like I do that.
Yeah.
I did it that way on purpose, right? Like that's how like I think I did it on accident one time. I was like, oh, that went over really well, and so I continue to do it that way.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did it on accident because I couldn't remember what I was gonna say.
That's the worst. Like, and the amount of times that I get like restless leg syndrome on stage, where like I get such bad anxiety that my legs just are 2 tree stumps and I can't move. So that's fun. And I do this act out where I do a calf raise because my fiance has smaller calf muscles than me, and every time I go to the gym I see him doing like calf raises, and when I have restless legs it doesn't work out too well because I can't move.
Yeah. All right, so name of the podcast is called Back in the Day, right? No, you're fine. Name of the podcast is called Back in the Day. Each season I always ask a guest a couple of stories from back in their day. This season we're focusing on stories from the times you made your parents the proudest So do you have a story for me about the time you think you probably made your parents the proudest?
Okay, I texted my mom and my dad for this podcast, and this is what my dad is like an angel sent from above. He said everything I do makes him proud. I'm like, okay, dad, like, come on, give me something. But honestly, when I got off The Bachelor, my dad called me hysterically crying, telling me how proud he was of me, like after the show premiered when I was wasted in a shark costume. So I don't know what that says.
Yeah.
The bar is very low. But that was what my dad said he was the proudest. And then my mom said how beautiful you are and how much you could be raunchy. And I
Okay.
started a Hoop Nation, but I started a hoop business, like a jewelry company. So that's what she said. But she said, I mean, I think The Bachelor was kind of what they were proud of, which I don't know how that
And you're like,
set,
I
you know.
didn't win. like,
I didn't win. I think just the fact that like I was from a small town and I left and I just did things, you know? Like
Yeah.
I left my hometown. I think that was a big accomplishment from their point of view.
Well, and your dad is a massive fan of the show. So and it was his
Massive.
idea
So
for
I
you to
think
do it.
yeah. My dad was like, I just remember him calling me the night of the premiere crying. Mind you, I was blacked out the night one. So, but he thought it was like, I think it was just seeing his daughter on TV, you know,
Yeah.
and on one of
What
his favorite shows.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got all seasons on the DVD. It's a big deal for him to see you on this show. I mean,
And
that's a big deal.
and my mom is very proud that I'm doing stand up. I just feel like they always knew how random I was and I was always doing like just out of the box things. So it's kind of like they're not proud, it's kind of just expected. They're like, "Oh, she's just doing something." It's just Alexis. I was always just down to do like I moved to Miami dead alone right after college, like drove down and they just
Yeah.
let me like it was just, I was just always moved to LA by myself. Like I was just always trying to get out of my comfort zone. But
Well, I
stand up
think
is
okay,
something.
the comfort zone thing is important, and I think that's probably why they're proud. That's why they picked those two things. Because as a parent, you just want your kids to put themselves out there. Like I don't
Yeah.
care if my kids are superstars in anything. I just want them to freaking put all their effort into it and try things.
Yeah. And what else did my mom say? She said okay, we'll figure something out. I was like, "Mom, what?" She just kept saying how proud she was of me really doing stand up. I thought she had something else. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So what about okay? So what about
Leaving
the
my
times that you?
hometown, making my volleyball team, like
There you go. What
making.
about the time you embarrassed them the most or disappointed them? Did they give you anything on that?
I think going on I think the answer is the same. The Bachelor was probably embarrassing to them low key as well. My mom said that she would she would walk in on me having sexual intercourse sometimes. But I would walk in on her like when I was little all the time, which was very embarrassing. I in high school, we would get drug tested in high school, and I would smoke weed in high school, and we would carry around pee bottles during drug testing days. And I guess one of the teachers saw me taking like somebody else's pee and putting it in my Ugg boot. So my mom had to come to the school, and that was like an embarrassing moment for her. And then I would always beat up girls in high school when they would hook up with my boyfriend.
Hold on. You said that very nonchalantly. You said, and you know, it's like, my mom had to come down to the high school because I had pee in my Ugg boot. And, you know, also, I always would beat bitches down if they hooked up with my boyfriend. Like, you said that so, like, that's like a normal thing. Like, how many girls were you fighting?
It was not. I fought a lot of girls in high school just because I was dating a boy that would cheat on me all the time. And I would think that they were the problem, even though I knew he was the problem. But yeah, I mean, we were from Jersey too. We'd always throw down. Like that was just a normal thing.
Like,
I
we
know
going
it's not
full
okay.
fist fight?
Yeah. And
What do you
remember,
think your record was in fights? If you had to say any losses?
with my sister, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I threw a punch one time and I went like this and I would never get over it because it was like a palm punch. It was a horrible punch and I'll never live it down. But yeah, I'm probably like 6 for 7.
Okay.
7%.
One loss? Just one loss? That's not bad.
One loss.
6
Maybe
and 1.
5
I
for
can
7.
take that. Yeah. 5 and 2. That's a winning record.
Mhm. Yeah.
That'll get you in the Hall of
If it's-
Fame.
Yeah. Honestly, I have really long arms.
Okay.
And I could throw a good punch. Like I said, I'm an athlete.
Do you think that your dad's most disappointing thing to you was those 2 losses, those 2 fight? Like, is your dad like a big fighter?
No,
and he
my
was like,
dad
no
is-
daughter of mine's
no.
losing in a fight.
No, my dad is an angel. Like he's not even, it's my mom that created this monster that I am because she would throw down all the time and I would watch her. And honestly, when I turned 30, I realized how much like growing up has shaped me of who I am because my mom is a nut job and then my dad is just an angel sent from above. So I'm wild and crazy, but deep down inside, I'm a good person because of my dad. But it's just looking like I feel like when I turned 30, looking back at my childhood has really shaped the person that I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just a thought.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense completely. Okay, so those are some good stories. I appreciate those. So tell the people on the show where they can follow you, where they can find you on stuff. If you've got any shows coming up that you want to plug, this will come out August 24th, so pretty soon.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. My name is Alexis Waters _ on Instagram. And then I have a show at Dallas Comedy Club at September 13th at 7 p.m. called Girls Night. So
Oh, nice.
come see your girl.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure you follow Alexis on Instagram. Go see her show September 13th at Dallas Comedy Club. As always, you can follow me on Instagram at Michael Pasvar, on TikTok at Michael Pasvar. Check out show dates on michaelpasvar.com. Got a big one coming up a couple days after this episode drops. I'll be headlining the Plano House of Comedy in the Shops of Legacy in Plano, August 28th. Come see it. I'm working a lot of new stuff out, and I'd love for you guys to see it. As always, subscribe, share the podcast, do all that fun stuff. Until next time, bye now.
Woohoo! Thank you so much.
In the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day. Back in the day.